Video games have a unique power that fewer mediums can touch. They can take nostalgia, that deep emotional connection to a moment in our youth, and make us feel it all over again, almost for the first time. As we grow older, those moments get further away, but technology keeps pushing forward, creating new ways to bring past back to life. And in the right hands, those memories don't just return, they shine like no other. That's exactly what Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater does. It's a game that carefully balances creative freedom with strict faithfulness to the original. Konami made it very clear from the beginning, preserving Snake Eater was top priority amongst anything else. This is a remake that honors the '04 stealth action classic from Hideo Kojima while still giving it a striking new visual identity. The first thing you'll notice is visual overhaul. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the Soviet jungle has never looked this alive. Towering trees, thick mud, moss-covered ruins, and the Cold War bunkers create an atmosphere that feels both grounded and cinematic. At times it's jaw-dropping with the lighting and the detail that rival any modern stealth game. But what's equally impressive is that the visual upgrade doesn't erase the original personality. Konami and Virtuos lifted the entire cutscenes, animation, and voice acting wholesale from the PS2 version, enhancing them visually while leaving their essence untouched. The result is a remake that looks modern that yet still feels familiar from our childhood.
My enemy. What about you, Jack? What's it going to be? Loyalty to your country or loyalty to me?
Now let's talk gameplay. On the surface, this is Snake Eater that you'll remember. Item boxes are in the same places, the camouflage system is intact, guards still follow their patrol routes with the same mix of tension and occasional jank, and yes, the cardboard boxes, antics, and absurd little distractions like dirty magazines remain fully intact. But there are meaningful improvements. The over-the-shoulder camera gives a more modern feel, similar to what we saw in Substance and later in the 3DS versions. Controls feel tighter and more accessible, movement feels smoother, and the quality of life tweaks, including optional UI elements and accessibility features, makes the experience feel less rigid. Me personally, I love the ability to apply color filters. Playing with the legacy green tint gave me that nostalgic PS2 vibe while still benefiting from the modern graphics. It's a very small detail, but it shows how customizable this remake can be.
You don't know the truth yet, but sooner or later you'll have to choose. I don't expect you to.
With that being said, the core game design remains very much 2004, with the segmented areas are still divided by quick loading transitions. Enemy AI feels simplistic by modern standards, and Snake melee combat, while functional, has stiff old school feel. It's a faithful recreation, but it also means some dated elements are more noticeable by today's standards. Story-wise, nothing has changed at all, and that's both a blessing and a little bit of a limitation. This is still the Naked Snake legacy mission through the Soviet jungle, featuring one of the franchise's most iconic casts. The mix of Cold War espionage, melodrama, political theater, and Kojima's signature absurdity all returns exactly as they were with this. David Hayter's iconic voice performance as Snake lands with the same warmth and gravitas it did 2 decades ago.
Life isn't just about passing on your genes. We can leave behind much more than just DNA. Virtuous mission. Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
And as for the cutscenes, while visually stunning, are still delivered with Kojima's indulgent style, complete with long dialogue sequences, political monologues, and the over-the-top character moments. If you love the original storytelling, this will feel like a step back into a world that you already adore. But if you're new to the game and new to Snake Eater, it might feel rigid compared to modern cinematic design. To put this remake into a little more context, think of it less like a Resident Evil 2 remake, where mechanics and structures were reinvented, and more like Resident Evil 4 Remake. This is a faithful recreation with a layer of modernization and non-radical reimagining. Compared to Metal Gear Solid 5, which pushed the series into an open world emergent sandbox, Delta feels a little constrained. Levels are still discrete with zones rather than sprawling environments. Stealth is a puzzle-like rather than a systematic, and while Phantom Pain remains unmatched for emergent gameplay, Snake Eater reminds us what made the series captivating in the first place. Some of the pros and cons. Well, for the strength, again, stunning Unreal Engine 5 visuals that bring the jungles to life, faithful recreation of the original story, voice work, and cutscenes, improved camera and controls make stealth more smoother and accessible. retains all the quirky, over-the-top charm of Kojima original vision. Some of the cons though are dated design elements stand out more than modern polish. Enemy AI and combat feel feels very stiff to today's standards. Long cutscenes and indulgent pacing may feel tedious to newcomers. The gameplay is very close to the original. Veteran players may find very little new with the game. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is less about reinventing and more about preserving. Konami set out to honor one of the greatest stealth action games ever made, and they are succeeding. For returning fans, it's like stepping back into your teenage years, reliving the exact same game you fell in love with, only now with more modern visuals and smoother mechanics. For newcomers, it's a faithful introduction, but one that still feels like a 2004 game under the surface. This isn't a bold reimagining, it's a time capsule dressed in cutting-edge visuals. At the end of the day, Delta raises a fascinating question. How far should a remake go in modernizing a classic game? In this case, Konami chose preservation over reinvention. And while that means some flaws remain, it also means Snake Eater's legacy shines exactly as it did almost 2 decades ago. So what do you guys think in the comments? Does this game play a little too safe? Should they change it up with this remake? Or do you like that it's very close to the original? Drop a comment below. And as for me, if you want to catch me live, link is in the description to my Twitch channel. And then until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and stay alpha.